Welcome to Let's Play Rule the Waves 2 as France, starting in 1920. This is episode 79, and we are 16 months into our war with Italy. It's July 1948, and we're kind of expecting peace now or very, very soon. There is very little of the Italian fleet left, 000. They're building 4 battle cruisers. Well, that's very optimistic of them. 6 remaining heavy cruisers and 4 destroyers, some armed merchant cruisers and a bunch of corvettes and 31 submarines. So nothing to fret about. We've taken all we can in the Mediterranean. It says that we can use Sicily as an invasion target, but its value of 12 means you can't, even though the error message says it's beyond our range, which is probably a lie because our range from Tunisia or indeed from Albania crisscrosses all around the Mediterranean, but let's not complain. I've already started quite an extensive post-war shipbuilding and reform program before the war's even ended, so that's quite nice. The money is holding up fine, and yeah, it's all good. Oh, by the way, on Saturday, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, I will be joining NoName117Spore RtW2, or indeed NoName117Spore, in one of his live streams at 6:30 in the morning in England and at midnight midnight on very, very early Saturday morning, Friday night in US Central Time. So join us then if you want to hear 2 guys geeking out about Rule the Waves 2. So let's press the turn and see what comes up next. And it's a fleet battle. With what fleet might this be? I'll accept. And they can't meet the challenge. They're still all over the place in Italy. I'm not fancying Mussolini's chances. We've sunk a submarine. We've hit a mine. On it goes. They're still sinking a lot of ships. Oh, well, we've got unrest level 1, but that's fine. Our wonderful allies, the British, are helping out, as indeed are we maintaining the blockade. Uneventful month, as I guess we are going to expect all these months to be. So we have a cruiser battle. Suppress the enemy airfields, because really that's the only thing that I have any concerns about. We have the Amiral Jean Bart and the Gloire, and no objectives, no reports, no support force. Okay, this all should be very straightforward. The time is almost a full day, nearly 14 hours of glorious Mediterranean sunshine. The wind is from the east. Visibility is 25,000. So let's just let's launch some catapults into whichever direction you thought was a good idea, and almost immediately a radar contact. So I hope in Rule the Waves 3, and if you haven't seen my analysis, using the term loosely, /guesses, about some of the screenshots that are being released by Matrix Games and Slytherin about Rule the Waves 3, I hope that the battle generator will generate battles at a much greater range for the 1950s and 1960s rather than almost immediately on top of you. Anyhow, we have a contact. Let's crank up the speed. There are 2 ships, and they are unidentified. Well, it says one's a corvette, which seems unlikely, but possible. And they're turning away. A corvette, and I reckon a couple of destroyers. No, it really is. Oh, 2 corvettes. There gets to be a point when, you know, it ceases to be a contest and is a bit more like bullying. So off they go. Let's put the lock screen in because this looks like it's going to be a chase. Let's bring the speed down. Oh, let's go to battle mode, shall we, so that you can see everything properly. Sorry. Not sure the main armament should be firing, but anyhow, let's just get rid of these as quickly as possible. Probably go down to cruise speed, really. And there goes one of them. And there goes the other. I'm almost embarrassed to even call that a battle. So yes, that's what they are reduced to. So, okay. Unexciting destroyers. Noticing they're not doing SAM destroyers like I am. Oh, so our Panleve's hit a mine. That's a shame. Dockyard hands for 6 months. Crikey. Few more merchant ships sunk. One of the advances in, and still blockading them, in the new game will be that it will have an automatic submarine builder, so you can just set it to build a submarine a month or a couple of submarines a month, and that way it will help with this constant drib of submarine losses. And yeah, because otherwise it's like, oh, I've forgotten submarines again. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that development. So the Panleve's repair has driven us slightly bigger into the minus numbers. A fleet battle? I don't think so. Cruiser action? Possibly, but not. The enemy sounded out about negotiated peace. We should not let them off cheaply. We should press for hard terms. So let's press for hard terms. And there we go. Finally, good sense has reigned. So let's see what we get. Woo! We can have Eritrea. I don't think so. It's past 1945. The value of colonies is declining. It will only increase the amount of ships we have to keep on colonial service. I will just take the 8 and put that into my economy. Thank you very much. And the British pick it up. Well, darlings, fine. If that's what you want to do, that's absolutely great. Budget cut from 650 to 445. So just the 200,000 less. So we'll address that in a moment. A new fighter variant. So slightly faster. Honestly, not enough to get excited about. So we have over 400 of the Potez 137. So let's not disturb that unnecessarily. And that's the last report of the war. New Panleve. So the game didn't realize that I already had one with an accent like you're supposed to do. So obviously I'll have to rename that. So let's go to the build screen. And let's build one, but let's call it something else. Let's call it the Charles de Gaulle, shall we? They seem keen on him. I know it's a little bit early for him to be really lionized as he was later on. I'm just going to have a little look at the finances. So we've got 2 months left on our rebuilds for the 2 Marseillaise heavy cruisers. We've got 4 months and 5 months for our 2 rebuilt battleships. So yes. So I'm just going to halt the Amiral Dalan for now, just to bring that down, and maybe the Charles de Gaulle itself. Okay, that takes us to 5,000, and then I'll just adjust the fleet into reserves and all of that. Okay, I've been reasonably harsh. I've sorted the fleet by maintenance cost. So the Ducan here is very expensive once it goes through its repair, as indeed is the Panleve there. I have 2 battleships and a carrier and 5 destroyers on the active fleet, plus the corvettes, the gunboats needed for colonial service. Everything else is in reserve or mothballed. 1 or 2 questions, such as the Lafayette light carrier. Is that really viable anymore? We'll see. We're 1,753 in the red, with the Ducan coming out of repair. That should ease, and then with some of the construction being ready in a couple of months, I will be fine. So I'm going to take it from there and just play out the rest of the year. So a new bomber. And oh yes, this is always interesting. So we shot down 451 Italian planes, 77% from our fighters, 15% by other aeroplanes, I imagine primarily dive bombers, 5% by heavy AA, 2% by medium, and 1% by light. And the poor old Sams, who just arrived at the end, never had a chance to shoot anybody down. So that's interesting. People are doing stuff. I'd quite like to look at my aircraft types. So we are in 48 still. Yes. So the fighter is fine, the torpedo bomber, the float plane. So the flying boat, the dive bomber, and the medium bomber are both a little bit suspect. And this old torpedo bomber that we have a lot on hand, but not many in actual service. In fact, we've got enough torpedo bombers, so I'm going to obsolete that one. And I'm going to request, so let's have a look. I suspect the medium bomber is most in need. So if I do a comparison on medium bombers, here are we. So the speed's not terrible. The range compared to the very latest is lagging a bit, but, you know, better than some. So it's not shocking. Let's have a look at the flying boats. Well, actually, that looks fine. And then finally, the dive bombers. So there's our dive bomber. And again, actually pretty competitive. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a new medium bomber. Now, we don't have to do range anymore because the range is perfectly adequate for everything. So I'm going to put speed down, and I'm going to put maybe toughness. We want fast and hard. The bomb load now should be perfectly capable of doing whatever we need it to, and the range, again, should be perfectly capable. So let's have a look at that. So that feels good. Let's press on. 2 cruisers finished their reconstruction, so they can go straight into reserve. Anti-aircraft, advanced anti-aircraft director. Yeah, actually, why not? So let's have a bit of that. Thank you very much. No to all. Oh, I haven't done my planes. Thank you for reminding me about the planes. Well, that helped the finances, changed things by 2,500. So that's great. We can carry on now with the Charles de Gaulle. So let's get that going. Yeah. In a few months' time, couple months' time, these are going to come out. So that's going to be fine. Excellent. So we'll leave it here. We will start a new year and analyze this past year in the next episode. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I hope to see you next time.